On this episode of Metal Gear Resurrections, I'm joined with Lenny Not Dead, a fellow Metal Gear fan and supporter of the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and as always, our intro and outro is by Fingers. Hey, can you hear
Hey,
me?
Johnny.
How's
Yeah,
it
I can
going?
hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I'm gonna say I think from what was it from the beginning? I think you were like one of the few supporters I had. You and Metal Gear D Model, I think.
Yeah, I think well, just kind of joined on to Twitter or Metal Gear Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you seem pretty active, and I don't know, you just kind of kept popping up, pretty positive and supportive for everyone else's kind of projects or um, whatever content they were producing at the time. So yeah, I think I heard about a lot of the stuff through you.
hmm
Um, so yeah, that's why I continue to follow you and yeah, support what you're doing.
Yeah. And I was gonna say apologies that I didn't introduce you. Joined by Lenny Not Dead.
No worries.
So Lenny, how did you get started with the series?
Um, well, it was back in 1998
Mm,
with Metal Gear Solid. Uh, it was kind of one of those games that just stood out from everything else.
mm,
I think with a lot of people, they started probably with the demo disc or maybe had some sort of idea that this game was coming.
mm,
Either playing the first one on NES or even like Snake's Revenge or something like that. I didn't have any idea it was really coming until one day, a friend kind of walks in the room at the house that, back in the day, everyone just had that house where you all gathered with the
mm.
bikes on the front lawn sort of stuff. Um, so we were at that house, and a friend just kind of walks in the door and is like, "You guys have to check this game out." And he had Metal Gear Solid with a Game Shark and the
Mm.
guide. So it was this immediate, you know, w- we were opened up to the game in any sort of way we wanted to. Well, really, I mean, we had unlimited ammo and all that stuff at the dock, and we
Oh,
sat
okay.
at the at the dock for I don't know, half an hour or something, just kind of messing around with the mechanics of just all the soldiers. I mean, really, that the idea of the enemies following you or even hearing you was
Mm.
so new that we just kind of sat there and ran through the puddle so many times and ran in circles around all the crates. And yeah, it was just one of those ones that the mechanics were so different
Mm.
that you just kind of kept wanting to replay it or just stay within that little world, like just sneaking around, hiding underneath tanks or whatever it was. I mean, it was just a different atmosphere um, than other games. Like, so I was playing probably Final Fantasy VII or Resident Evil 2 at the time.
Mm.
So this was just different. I mean, Resident Evil 2 had some story, and there is, other games that had stories, but this one was probably more in depth, or maybe it just stuck with me more since it's kind of like the 80s cliche action movie sort of thing. Um, yeah, it just stuck, and I'm happy they made so many more games after that.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say like right on the money, like how intuitive the enemy AI was basically. Uh, they're like not only use their sight but also use your hearing as well. In regards to like you trying to sneak around, like if you left like water, if you stepped on water, you left like footprints
Right,
basically,
right.
and then so forth with the snow. And later on, it got even more. They got more intuitive. They got more. They adjusted more for like each system, so it's like whatever you possibly could find an enemy could be used in reverse against you, in a way.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? This series like also like it was like a whole like bundle of things where, including the fact that it was highly cinematic, like each entry. So it kind of like got you craving for more, like each time. I mean, you can kind of see like what was Kojima's like influences for them, and like for the first one, it was like as soon as you start, it was like you would see the submarine you're basically riding on as you're like hearing the debriefing of like what's happening over at Shadow Moses Island, and like what's your mission basically, kind of thing. And it's kind of like reminded me of like Hunt for Red October, and I was just like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm hooked. It's like this game's got me basically. And it was during that time it was like, 98, like what else was out there kind of thing. I
Right. It
can't
was like
I
one of the first ones that kind of felt more
mm,
grown up, or I don't know, more than just like the platformers or
mm,
whatever. Because I guess to back up, like I came
mm,
from like Super Nintendo, well, NES and then Super Nintendo, but that was kind of like when I made that jump to PlayStation. I think that was even their marketing was this
mm,
is for more adult sort of games. It's not just for children.
mm,
Um, and then having that game be around that early um, really did like kind of solidify that idea. And um, yeah, it became one of my major three franchises. Like I have to play
mm,
Metal Gear, Resident Evil, and Final Fantasy. Like that, each time there's a new entry that comes out, it's like, okay,
mm.
hold on, I gotta put everything aside, and almost no matter where I am in life, and I'm like, okay, let's see what the new idea is for this, these games.
And have you played like all the games? Like you have you completed all of them?
So no, there are a
Mhm.
few that I have not.
Okay.
Probably one of the biggest ones, Metal Gear D model probably should close his ears. But yeah, I haven't finished Metal Gear 2. That one
Mhm.
I left off somewhere in the elevators. Um,
Oh, yeah.
those older games I like to do, like write little notes or make maps or something like that. And I just haven't really had the time to sit down and play it in that way. So I've just kind of like put that one on the back burner, and like I know I need to do that experience with it because that's the way I played those ones, and I know that's the way I'll get like the maximum like enjoyment out of it.
I get you. I mean, I don't blame you. Like that was like even tough when I was covering with him. That game was just. I mean, I've played. You play all the modern games, and you kind of get so adjusted and acclimated to what to expect from like modern, how like what the rules are for the modern game. So when you go back to like these older games, you kind of forget like they're basically made to challenge you. But the challenging part was
Right.
like really, really on a whole different level compared to like I would say, games now, other than like maybe like, games are like specifically made to like be very difficult on your journey, like Elden Ring maybe. But for something as like as that, like MSX, like I had a hard time playing that game, and I I was luckily to like lean on Metal Gear D model to like kind of like give me like his tips, like how he got through his section, so he kind of like help me in my journey. But I'm trying to think like but you've played like all the modern games then,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say, yeah.
Well, the only modern game that I
Hmm.
haven't played is Revengeance, and that one
Oh,
I'm kind of leaving that. I mean, I own it, and
yeah.
I'm leaving it on the shelf, and it's kind of the same way I felt in, was it 2012 or 13, whenever it came out. It was just kind of
Hmm.
like, well, that one might not be my Metal Gear, but again, I know I'm gonna have to beat that one here soon. That's kind of part of my summer plan to go through the last couple, um, and
I
then
think,
maybe even
yeah.
add like Acid and Acid 2 to that list.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I haven't played Acids, but for Revenge, I think you're like the third person I've maybe talked with that we all own a copy of it, but we've
Hmm.
never like dived into it. It's like we own it, we haven't played it yet. Like there's time some place down the road. I mean, I've heard from the people like it's really good upon like the action part, but for I think for me it's like yes, it has the name like Metal Gear in it, but it's kind of like a separate entry on its own. So
Right,
like
right.
that's why I'm hesitant myself. Like, well, I don't really have to like jump on it so quickly to like finish it up. Like I can like kind of like give myself time and like play with the other games beforehand kind of thing.
Yeah, most likely I'd
Mm.
probably end up doing like a replay of the whole series before I
There
I'd
you
like
go.
I'd replay it all, and I'd tell myself once I got to that point I would play that one, and then most likely stop, or I don't know. Um, yeah, I
Mm.
very much like the core, solid games.
Yeah.
But that would even add, Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes into that too. That's probably, I mean, I definitely like the story.
Hmm.
Kojima's crazy story, like
Yeah.
throughout, even in Death Stranding. I do like his crazy, weird ideas. But the gameplay, at the
Mm.
beginning for Metal Gear was definitely like where I was sold. So that whole, just sneaking around, tactical, shooting guards or whatever.
Mhm.
Like that's where it really started for me, and the story was just like this secondary thing that then definitely caught my attention. Like, I mean, like the death of Sniper Wolf in the first game, that's probably the moment where you're like, whoa, this is something more than I thought it was going to be. Even with the action sort of genre, there's going to be the highs and lows of the death of the friend or comrade or something like that. But that,
Mm.
I mean, yeah, that was definitely felt like a change in gaming.
Oh, can I ask you, like, since you play like most of the games, like, and you go back and play them, how has the games, how have they like grown with you through the years? Like, when you like when you first played them versus like now, kind of thing.
Um, well, at least definitely like the first game and probably even
Mm.
the second and third. Like, I just didn't do stealth that much. I
Okay.
mean, it was just kind of the action, like, run in there and shoot all the guards. And most of the time, that's just because I would mess something up, and then
Mm.
you would just increase the level of gun size until you shot your way out of there. Um, but two has probably changed the most over time.
Mm.
The first time I played two is probably the same as everyone else. You're just kind of sitting there like, what the hell is happening? Um, like I rented it.
Mm.
So I had that first initial playthrough, and then we returned it, so we didn't get to like sit there and play it again and again and really even hear the story again. But just kind of see some of those other things that are now, feel a little bit more obvious, but maybe they're still kind of hidden. But yeah, the whole ride and switch, like
Mm.
that, I was on probably the side that was, like, this isn't my Snake. What happened to him?
Yeah.
Um, Not that I hate riding, but it was just
Mm.
more of, you see all the promotions and everything leading up to it, in like PlayStation Magazine or the schoolyard or wherever. And then, we rented it, and then we get to that part, like me and my friends, and
Mm.
you're just sitting there like, well, what's happening? What's going on? Like, there's a point to it, but you definitely don't, at least the first time, you don't have any idea what's going on, and you don't know why. And you just kind of slowly fall into this trap of
Mm.
like, you just go along just like he does, just goes, from point A to point B, rescue the president, or it's not until the end the AI kernel's going crazy or something like that, and you're like, okay, I definitely know there's something going on now,
Mhm.
but still don't know what it is. So yeah, it's a very fun first experience, and then later on you learn kind of what's going on, and the whole uh, kind of make another Solid Snake sort of story behind it, and
Mhm.
so that's probably the one that's changed the most. I've grown to appreciate more.
Mhm.
Um, some of the other stuff like 3 and 5, or V,
Mhm.
I still like those, almost the same as the day I played them first. I mean, like I said, I like the gameplay part of it. So both of those, when they came out, were, the epitome of the gameplay. When 3 was out, that was, you were building to that.
Mhm.
That was right before I went to college. So it did feel like this swan song sort of, that was the last one. But it was a really good, and that's probably why that's my favorite. It was a really good first experience. And then, like I said, I went to college, so I couldn't play 4 right when it came out because I couldn't afford a PS3.
Mhm.
So then going back to that one, that's sort of kind of fit with the whole, old Snake, going back to see some of the old, even though it's Solid versus Naked, it still feels, you're going back to the beginning.
Mhm.
You're seeing some of that old stuff. So 4, it's just a straight nostalgia. I mean, he hits all those weird beats, that everyone says is a little on the nose, which I pretty much agree with most of them. Meaning, like the Johnny and Meryl getting married and all that stuff. It's like, okay, that's where it's a little too much for me. But the struggle of old Snake and that story, I definitely felt like I was in the right place for that one too. Like I said, kind of coming back to it after a little bit of time. Uh, yeah, that one was kind of fun. I don't know what you originally
Hmm.
said. I was kind of rambling
Oh
there.
no, that's all right. It was basically like how the games like
Hmm,
how you've grown with them through the years. Like 'cause I know like for me like I when I first started with the first game I was 14 and
right.
I just kept going with like the series from then on. So like by the time like we get to like you know four, I would occasionally like with each entry I would go back and like replay the last one beforehand before
Hmm.
going into the new one kind of thing. And for me, it was like, you know, very different, like, for like how I would play these games and how like I would like understand the stories themselves, like especially with two. I remember with two that, like you said before, like all the promotions, all the previews, just the articles you would see on the video magazines that like it was all about Solid Snake. There was like no mention of Raiden. If there was like any like promotional artwork, it wasn't really any like explanation as to who that character was in a way, because they would have like the artwork where it would be like Solid Snake in the foreground and then like this um basically the face of Raiden in the background. But
Hmm.
the way Raiden was drawn, you would think it would almost look like it was very feminine in a way, like for that like the promotional artwork versus like when you play the game, it's like, well, that's completely different. Like this is a first of all, when you play the game, it's you're starting as Solid Snake, and it's kind of like you're doing this thing where you're gonna transition between the two characters. So like when you start as Snake, you're like playing it like in the middle of the night, sneaking onto a ship. And
Right.
when you get to the playing chapter, you're playing as Raiden. I was gonna say like his code name is still Snake, but he's swimming into the plant in the basically I think like in beginning of the day. So it's kind of like this whole like you're going from a hardened veteran to this very new character, but also what we believe to be green VR trained soldier person. And I remember like this person like what the hell happened here? Like where did Snake go? Like
Right.
did we die in the beginning of the game and we're starting off in the whole entire new game thing? And I love it like now. Well, because now it's been like such a long time. People who like worked for like magazines that like long gone are saying like, well, we knew all about it. We just didn't want to spoil it in the reviews and like possibly tank sales kind of thing. So, people knew, they kind of kept quiet about it. It's today where just like everyone's trying to look for like leaks and up rumors about
Yeah.
supposed remakes and remasters that like are on the way. And I just shake my head every time I see those things. And I was like, oh, okay, real life has become Metal Gear Solid 2. Manipulation of like information in digital age.
Yeah, definitely the information overload.
Yeah.
To it's like it's hard to sift through if you just give them a complete overload or
Yeah.
yeah. It's very much in line. That's probably one of the. I mean, everyone's said it before, but that's probably one of
Yeah.
the ones that's easy to see over time. The growth of two, or sorry, the team is saying the information overload, kind of predicting how the internet would be
Hmm.
weaponized almost. And that's kind of a fun one to see nowadays, where it's on the nose. I mean, it's very
Hmm.
it is a weapon. You see politicians use it. You see
Yeah.
um, other influencers kind of do that same stuff. The rumors or the fake news or the
Yeah.
propaganda is what you used to say, but that's
And go ahead.
well, I was just
Yeah.
kind of gonna end and say that yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. And like when I first played these games, like I'm gonna go back to two, like, I played as Raiden and then like I didn't really like cry about it. Like I know hearing from other people and knowing some, friends of mine that played this game, they kind of like complained and like really like huffed and puffed and like, like, oh, I hate this game now because I gotta play this androgynous looking person. When I was a teenager, I was like, all right, I'll play this. And for some reason in my head, I thought maybe we'll get to switch back to Solid Snake in the middle of the game again, kind of thing, hoping. But replaying it now, it's like, I don't mind the whole like switch into like I actually enjoyed it. It's kind of refreshing. I'm playing as Raiden, especially when you see like the transformation between 2 and 4. Thing that's like that's about it is like what happened with the voice actor behind it, kind of thing where
I don't know the specifics,
I don't know.
but I know
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not good.
It's kind of like that where it's like I don't know the specifics. I tried looking into it, and it was like one of those things where there's something happened, and then it went away, and now we're just like kind of like patching over on top of it, and I'm like, okay. I can't say for sure. I can't talk in specifics because I can't find any information about it. And I was like, "Whoa, am I in a game right now? Metal Gear kind of thing?"
It's the simulation.
It's like, why is this guy information kind of disappearing? No, but for for this series, like I used to like have a rule where it's like if I get caught a amount of times, I'm just gonna like say fuck it and just go balls to the wall and just shoot up everybody. And it was more evident in 3.
Yeah, definitely. We had the same sort of approach
because
to it.
when I first played it, I didn't like understand the camo index kind of thing. I was like, all right, I gotta switch my uniform. I gotta like get higher numbers, and then I would just get so frustrated and so pissed off and just be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take my shotgun out and just like shoot everybody in the room thing. Series like all know like for all the internet's like floated articles and like how David was like basically kind of like always being like re-interviewed and kind of like going up for like having to like kind of apply for his job every time after I think what was it 1 he had to like keep on back and like kind of like read lines all over again. That's what I meant to say, like he was like always reading lines, and you see like articles where it's like, well, in 3 they wanted Kurt Russell, and I was like, all right, so when we get to 5 now we get the whole like recasting, and it kind of felt like I was like present in social media, but I wasn't like top of it and like scouring. But it was just for me, it kind of felt like it was a shocker. It wasn't like too bad. Like I didn't like say like, oh, I'm pissed, I'm never gonna play this game. Just like, huh, why they recast for Kiefer? Like that's not a choice. Like, how did you feel about that?
It was a shock to me, but I guess either maybe I knew about the Kurt Russell thing for 3, so it just like when it happened, I wasn't really too surprised, kind of especially now with given Kojima's kind of obsession with now the new celebrities or whoever. he's getting everybody to be in Death Stranding. So yeah, it didn't really put me off too much. Was a little bit of it, it's like that's not David Hayter. And then given the story, I think I've heard you say this, but they could have had a little bit of that voice actor switch in there too for the whole Big Boss and Venom thing. That would have played just like a little bit harder. I mean, it could have been down to just a couple lines they could have had Hayter say, and it would have been that much more impactful. And then the actual haters of the Kiefer Sutherland switch, it made way more sense. And then I don't know, I like the story in 5, and I thought that the voice actor change, given that it's then Venom, it holds up, and there's decisions that are made that for companies and all that stuff out of my hands, and I'm just the fan who plays the games. But overall, like I don't think it affected the game to where it's it's like, oh, that's not a Metal Gear, that's not a that it fits in the series. In fact, I think it's probably one of the stronger ones. Given all time is a flat circle, just kind of connects everything back up to the original.
I think you probably did hear me. Like I said it like in previous other people, like like with the whole because we can see like all the cut content that they were like going for like the missing chapter with Phantom Pain, that like they were gonna like start things were like visually game, like when I think what it was for is that when Venom was going after Eli again, he was gonna get hit and his like basically the horn shrapnel, and then in doing so that was gonna actually have him like have his visual like get like fucked up and like kind of like seeing like things that were not there and like seeing like incorrect like colored uniforms with people who's friendly, who's enemy. And I was thinking like, well, if you were gonna do something like that, like why couldn't you do something like audio as well? And that's what I was saying with the whole modulated voice. Like if you start the game David, and then as you progress through the game, just have that voice start to deteriorate and sort of like slowly change. So when you get to the end where the character's basically having a mental breakdown because all those barriers are like breaking down and he's figuring out who he is, you would get to like that Kiefer voice where it's like, oh, it's the medic. Kiefer's the medic. Like, oh, that makes sense now. But the story makes sense regardless. Like, yeah, you are not any snake. You're actually what they would say. Like he was like he was both the loyal and the best, loyal and best MSF.
Oh yeah.
Like there seems something about him. Like he was like loyal and he was like the best medic or best soldier for the job. And I was like, hey, like that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. And I was like, it's also kind of like fucked up, like how you just take a whole person, and just kind of like erase him for ever remembering who he ever was till he does. And then like it's even double fucked up where the guy's like, okay, I'll just ride with this. Like, yeah, why not? Let's keep going. I was kind of hoping maybe he would rebel and it would be like, oh, okay, he was doing X, Y, and Z. That's why the real big boss sent David to him while he's rebuilding his own thing over in Zanzibar. Like, oh, because this guy's like basically too big for his britches kind of thing. But, you know, it didn't deter. Like, that game is just, even to this day, it's still like better than most games that I played recently, especially with how games are nowadays, where like hopefully you would get a game that works nowadays. Like hopefully it doesn't need a patch where it's gonna like need to like correct it. And I think we all like, if we have a bad example, we always go back to like Cyberpunk, basically. Like, well, that was like a really worst case scenario kind of thing where it took like a year.
Cyberpunk was actually released on my birthday.
Oh,
and I bought that, and that's actually the game that made me like, I was staring at the screen, it's having a hard time loading it, and was like, I think it's time to get a PS5. And there, like that was the moment. And I played pretty far in that game. I did eventually beat it. It's okay. I mean, it was fine, but it was that game that was like, okay, I think it's time to upgrade from this PS4. I mean, I had a launch model PS4, so I didn't have a Pro or anything, so it might have been the time. But yeah, so you either get a broken game like that, or you get games again that I liked, Horizon, the Forbidden West, and then the new God of War, Ragnarok. Those are good, story-driven games. Have way too much like the game solves itself. Like you walk into a room and you're looking around like, wow, they actually did a good job with this, and you give it 15 seconds, and then your little sidekick is like, oh, to solve the puzzle, do this, and you're like, dude, give me a second to look around. But I talked to my nephew, and they kind of like that. So it's just a different, it's different generation, different mindset. They don't mind it, is what it really is. He's looking up some of the basic puzzles where it's like that's the fun thing. It's like it's like you hit the 3 little gongs, and they're just right there. Like they're not that far out of reach, but they don't want to. Doesn't want to solve it like that. He just wants to look it up and be like, okay, there's the answer, move on, unlock next. Back in the day it was cutscenes or whatever, but it's still the same thing. You just progress the story, and that's matters to them. But in those two, I guess, AAA quote unquote polished games, the gripes I have, it's like everything is just too accessible, but the mini maps, everything is just shown right there.
Okay.
Example, the Pixel remasters. I don't know if you played any of the original Final Fantasies through 6. Just beat Final Fantasy 1 and played it first on the PlayStation, and I remember it being a lot harder. And I think the reason was because there's no mini map. This one just tells you, and like where all the chests are, where the next room is, and that was half the stuff. You would go around the corner and it's like, oh shit, this is a dead end.
Mhm.
Okay, now I have to backtrack all the way out of this thing and potentially die doing that. But now it's like, just go there. And I beat it with like 8 hours or something. It was just like, I felt like I ran right through it.
Mhm.
It is quality of life improvements and all that. Like they're, I don't want to spend 100 hours doing that, but some of the stuff that I felt like they made it just a little bit too easier, and that was part of the whole of that game was just, you could take a wrong turn and end up having to fight everything until you died, ran out of items or whatever. And they just took that aspect out of it. And maybe this is just me getting old, games aren't like they used to be, but I should just, be the old guy and go play the old games and let the new generation drive how the new games are made.
I mean, I would say like I agree with you like 100%. Like I'm not saying like in a mean or anything like demeaning way, but it's sort of like there's a little bit of a hand holding for the gamers kind of thing to kind of guide them to like so they won't get frustrated. Like because I remember like back when I was a little kid, like I was playing like NES games, Super NES, and a lot of times those games required like the guide that came with it because that was kind of like the thing that went hand in hand. Or you would call like that, I think it was like 1-800 number for Nintendo to kind of like get those, basically you have to call somebody to go to get a tip to pass wherever you need to go past. So like I kind of like was that part of that gaming world where it's like I kind of want to avoid those two things because like I'm a little kid, I can't really afford to call those numbers or the strategy guides. Like I kind of like already had a hard time talking to my parents into buying me the game. And I was like, I can't tell them like, hey, can you buy me this extra possible $30 thing that goes with the game? Right. So like it was kind of like a thing where it's like I had to like refer to like going back to school on the schoolyard and like talk to all my friends and be like, how did you get past this point? Like you were playing this game, like what's happening in this part? Like did anybody beat this? Like how do you do that? Kind of, and also like just trying to figure it out yourself. Like that's part of the journey, trial and error, and just trying to figure out past this section, like how to find this item, like how do I beat this boss, kind of thing. And I'm thinking like maybe like just now is just maybe they're just trying to like please everyone, and that's really difficult to kind of do. Pleasing part is the guiding part, kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, video games are probably the only medium where you can get stuck and you can't even you know the rest of the story. It's not like a book just stops for some reason. You're not allowed to read it, and then you don't know what happens. So you can see where it's like they want to get rid of those moments where you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just completely stuck, and therefore I can't beat this game. I like your game, and I'm not going to buy this next one, or I'm not, so there's definitely a even probably a huge monetary one where it's like, yeah, just have them, the little sidekick say, yeah, that's how you solve the puzzle. Sell more copies, and most people probably don't care.
You're probably right. And it's like one of the things where I like these new games, like I've tried playing God of War like ones, and I would just say to myself like, man, like I kind of want to go back to like what the old ones were, but then say ones now, but like for me, like those were the ones that I played, like for the ones like for like the PS2 and on up.
Yeah.
Thing where it's like, imagine a kid now, like, wow, some old ass fucking games you got there, buddy, kind of thing. Where it's like, no, man, like I'm not in the world of like being told like it's there. Oh look at that. Like wonder why does it look like that? Go look at it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's highlighted yellow or some other color that's just like you can't miss it, sort of thing.
Like, how about we mess up like 15 times until the colonel calls us and tells us what to do next, right. Kind of thing. It's like, can we do that? Like, can we do a lot of trial and error? But for this series and like Koji, it's like I obviously I followed him to like Death Stranding, and playing that game, it was just like a whole like, what am I in kind of thing. Like, holy crap! Like, what is this? Like this whole like new, because it is a whole new world. And the first thing I tried to do was I tried to play it like a Metal Gear game, where I try to sneak everywhere as possible. And it's just like one of those things like you can't do that. there's time for moments to run, and there's time for sneaking. And, well, not really sneaking. It's more like quiet as possible without being seen, or without being heard or seen, kind of thing. And I'm like 60% in. I haven't finished the game yet, and it's
I
just
was just
like
gonna ask you that.
it's just like this whole like man, like this world is like it's so weird. It's like I can get behind Kojima weird, but this is like with the handcuffs weird, and just let it like free reign them, kind of thing.
Definitely would like. So I played Death Stranding. I've beaten it 3 times. I platinumed the PS version and the PS5, the director's cut. So I've definitely put in some hours into that game, and I still am like, what is like half the scenes? It's like, I know this is probably like a metaphor for something else, but also just like a baby's butt or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I think he just, yeah, freeing is definitely
God.
put that.
It's like with Metal Gear series, I was like, I knew like there's like a level of horniness to it, but then with Stranding, like there's horniness, and then there's like, I'm gonna make it really weird with my horniness. And it's just, I was like, oh my god, it's like the whole with I forgot her character's name, but like Margaret Qualley.
Mama?
Is it Mama? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it got really weird when she started talking about like her breast milk and everything. I was like, what? She's just like divulging all this information. Like, I can understand, like, yes, I need to hear your backstory because, I don't really want to read like emails. Like, oh my god, like so many emails in that game where I get to a point where it's like, and I read too many emails in real life. I don't want to read in my game, kind of thing. And it's just like, it just got really weird. I was like, holy shit, like what? Like, where are we going with this? So, oh, okay, you're gonna like basically detach yourself from your T kind of thing. But there's a second one coming, and it's like, okay, I'm almost done with the first one. I still don't understand it, and I'm pretty sure like when I finish it, I still won't understand it, kind of thing.
There's some stuff that is left out where unless I totally misunderstood something, what everyone's like, oh, this is the Death Stranding. I'm like, I don't think that is, and I don't think it can be because of, if you read some of the emails, like the timing doesn't really work out. It's like, I still think that Death Stranding is just an event that has happened. It's not like, if you haven't finished it, I'm not going to say all this other stuff, but it's very much, I think, this side, or not side, but like this thing that just happens, and then you're playing the aftermath of that with ties to it, given, well, you got to finish it, and then I'll just say some stuff. But
I mean, I was gonna say, thanks to social media and basically the podcast, I dive into it. Like, I already like know what happens, but like I'm playing it to like also experience it for my own and like what's happening. But like, from what I was understanding, I was like, all right, this is like supposed to be like an extinction level event kind of thing. So this one guy, because he's connected to like in a certain way, because as the story plays out, I was gonna say for Sam, it's like, it's because he was like one of the first ones, one of the BBs. Is that what was happening?
So if you want to do spoilers, that's fine. Well, so I think is I mean, they were doing this whole BB program, and he's like one of the ones that actually it worked. Because some of the other BBs, I think, like they could spot BTs, but whole Die Hardman, shoots Mads, which is Sims, or Clifford Unger, which is Sam's dad. In doing that, kills Sam, and that's the event is name now, Lindsay Wagner. Back and she saves him, and I think that's how he's brought back, and they explain, you're a video game character and you can be brought back from the dead, but that's the moment where it's like kind of starting that cycle of, I think she breaks the extinction event, and that is him in her beach, kind of living that life, and then it's like this. Okay, well, this is eventually going to happen. Um, it's a crazy story, and like I said, I
Yeah.
played it through 3 times, and I'm still like, well, I think I need to go listen to a few analysis of it, and
Hmm.
I've even read through some of the books too, a little two-parter that came out,
Yeah.
which there's some pretty good information in there, but it still doesn't like really
Hmm.
um, the whole idea, and I think that's probably it's coming in DS2, which technically
Hmm.
he hasn't said it's Death Stranding 2.
No. Yeah.
Um, that whole weird thing where he just keeps saying DS2, um, and at Twitter, like I'm very weary of him with sequels after
Hmm.
after after Solid 2. So I only think there's going to be something weird coming down the line, like the whole Elle Fanning.
Hmm.
Everyone's like, oh well, that's the baby growing up, and it's like, well, I don't know. I think that's
Yeah.
probably something where it's like the whole marketing is making you think that way, and it's going to be the same old thing. It's like, nope, it's just something after the fact or straight value, and that's the twist. Is like everyone's looking for something
Hmm.
crazy, and it is just a straight sequel, and it's like he still kind of gets you.
When it comes to sequels, I'll wait till I actually get to the game in my hands, kind of thing.
Mhm.
For him, it's I think like it's like is this the next like franchise that he's building upon, or do like other stuff? Because I remember like kind of like Microsoft like cloud-based game, which no one's talked about anymore, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was another weird thing. It's like they announced it, they were kind of like really excited to announce it, and then like dead air after that, and that's like that's the usual like that's kind of the usual thing where it's like you're not going to hear anything because there probably isn't much to like talk about like really because especially like now with people like leaks and stuff and like or basically taking things that companies like with and showcasing it. I see like like games are like way, way, way in the beginning, and then people just like shitting on it, and it's like one of those things where I don't know much about that world, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the end result kind of thing. So I basically wait till like for official statements and stuff. And I was like, there's too many times where I get into like heated like debate shit, and I was like, oh, it's not worth my time, and like I don't feel like why am I arguing with this like really a non-person online what's happening because I was like laughing after the whole like abandoned thing. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that. It's like
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
was
downloaded that. It might
yeah.
still be on my PS5. I probably
Oh
should
my
get rid of
God.
that.
Yeah, I was just like they were talking about like that thing being like someone they're like, oh, it's got to be like a Metal Gear because the eye patch. Oh no, wait, it's Silent Hill. I'm like,
I want it to
yeah,
be.
exactly. It's
Even with this new the new MJ rumors, like
mm,
there was another one today. It's like, oh, it's not a Sony exclusive.
mm,
It's they keep adding stuff to make it like exactly what they want. Like everyone's got their expectations so high
yeah.
for every game. It's like it's got to have this, it's going to have this, it's going to have this, and
Hmm.
so there's always this huge section of people that whether if it's online and it's real or not, but just a lot of people disappointed because they
Hmm.
built this thing up into something that's completely not. Like you're saying, like wait for it to come out,
Hmm.
see what it actually is, experience it, and then then write your post if you still don't like it or whatever.
Yeah. I'd say, especially with Konami, I don't know what they're doing on their end, especially with the whole in July. It's going to be like a year that they announced, obviously, for what would have been like it was their then. Now we'll go on year 36. They were talking about like, oh, we're working to get 2 and 3, or I don't even think they said 2 and 3. I think they just said the delisted games back into this digital storefronts, and even that was just like weird. I can't imagine like a company that big, someone losing track of licensing.
It just doesn't make sense. Like they
Yeah.
either have to have some down the lines, maybe the
Hmm.
remake is real, but or they just or it's just sitting there and no one they just don't want to do anything with it. They don't think it's
Yeah.
good enough, which I mean I post, I'll have to go look at the numbers again, but
Mhm.
even after the delisting and all that, like, Metal Gear as a franchise is still selling known numbers, so that there's the
Mhm.
want is still there. They need to do what they did with like the Cowabunga collection
Yeah.
and just kind of port everything and just like, here it is, here's all of them in a collection. You can sift through.
Mhm.
Here's artwork. Here's, hire somebody else to do that. If they don't want to, touch it, and they don't have to. I mean, I guess they would have to get the license back for 2 and 3.
Mhm.
There'd probably be some issues there, but making a port or a collection like that, best to preserve the games as themselves. But then, like, you would another physical
Mhm.
copy, new people would be exposed to it. I do think old and new people would buy it. It would be profitable.
Yeah.
Would they do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they really care about some of their bigger. I mean, we see with the Silent Hill stuff,
Mhm.
they're going to start doing these remakes. I mean, they're remaking Silent Hill 2.
Mhm.
So a Metal Gear remake is gonna happen. A Castlevania thing is gonna happen. They're gonna take those big IPs and will if they can.
Mhm.
I think it's just a matter of time. Thing, it's like that's
Mhm.
it's gonna come and go. We've been doing this for years now, but eventually the inevitable is gonna happen, and they're gonna be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to say, like, okay, 500 to 1, like your record's not that good, even though you got that one.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say like, yeah, that's the part I was gonna hate. Like they're gonna be like gloating, be like, see, I told you. Like I was correct. I'm like, dude, you've been saying this for how long now? Kind of thing.
Right.
But
You
yeah,
can go and look at all the Twitter
Mhm.
posts and, like, okay, let's timestamp this. How many
Mhm.
months have you just been referring back to the same? Cool. I mean, so if I was that leaker guy who had,
Mhm.
is giving out this information, I would be so pissed that this guy is just, or these, a few people are kind of
Mhm.
running off that same thing and have been posting about it for years now. It's like, hey, like, I don't know. At a certain point, it's like, I feel like it's got to be bogus.
Mhm.
Or as that leaker, I'd be like, okay, I guess I've cut ties with that person. And that might have happened, but it sounds like other people have tried to question. And, it's just kind of like, no, trust me, or I'm still good with the source kind of feeling.
Mhm.
So I guess we'll see. What is it? The next rumor is supposed to be the 24th or something like
Yeah.
that, the Sony showcase. So
Yeah, I think the 24th.
my best case scenario for that is we just get more of Death Stranding 2. But
Yeah, that's thinking. Like it's gotta be more Death Stranding. Come on, it's Sony, and with Sony has had like a really long relationship with Kojima, and I imagine like like they're gonna give him probably I want to say like time slot, but like give him a good moment in the sun to like let his game, which is right. It's called DS2, which is another weird thing where it doesn't even like acknowledge that it doesn't say it's called Death Stranding. So I don't know what it's supposed to be. All I know is that like it got me interested. It's got me interested, and it's got me like going like, what the hell is this now? Like what do we got here going here? Kind of thing.
well, and he knows that
Mhm.
it's very interesting just on face value, because like if you see the first trailer,
Mhm.
I don't know what kind of ship it actually is in the game, but it's very it has like that railgun looking
Yeah.
crane arm on it. There's one where it's like these monk looking guys that are walking out towards these two towers, and it kind of looks like two communications towers with a little bridge in the middle. There's all this stuff that I'm pretty sure he's just editing this, going like, yeah, they're gonna see this,
Yeah.
and they're gonna go crazy, and it's kind of like what he's always been doing, and just kind of directing.
Mhm.
And this ruse that he's got going on. Like I wasn't on Twitter for the whole MGSV. What was the fake? His fake that he made up.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, he made a fake gaming studio.
Yes, and like that was the whole reason for the Konami thing, or the
Mhm.
Fallout or whatever. But yeah, I wasn't there for that. So it's I guess it's kind of nice to be here for this one just to see like the
Hmm.
that build up of something that you like what's it gonna. I mean that's kind of like what I was saying earlier. Like I'm building up my own expectations, so maybe I
Hmm.
shouldn't do that because then I'm gonna let myself down. Of like it's gonna be some cool trick and it's gonna get me and it's. I mean, so yeah, I just and antennas and hopefully we'll get another look at it coming up in a few days.
Oh, I'm pretty. Yeah. Let me see. Which game did you say was your favorite? Was the third one?
Yeah, it's the
Mm-hmm.
third one. Like V is pretty good up there in
Hmm.
gameplay, but I think for story, it's like I said with the voice acting change, but it is still nice to
Yeah.
have David Hayter. Um, it's at the time it was the best gameplay for all the three. Story is good, like the ties to James Bond and all that. I'm kind of a sucker
Hmm.
for that sort of stuff. Um, so it's probably the basic answer, but three has
Hmm.
probably got to be up there. I mean, that's why they're remaking it. It's a good, solid story. It's a contained story too.
Hmm.
Um, to go back to that one, that or
Hmm.
like the release of that one, I was definitely in the crowd of people who were like, what's going on? Is this some weird time travel thing? Because like
Oh
you
yeah.
immediately get that it's like 60s and that was when did this game come out? Was that like 4 or
I
something like
think
that?
so.
So I
I
didn't
think it
even
was four.
have my own computer yet. I didn't get one until I left for college.
Hmm.
Um, so I definitely wasn't, up on like what the actual story was. So when that happened, or like when you see where it's set, me, same friend who played two, were just sitting there
Hmm.
like, what's going on? Like, where are we now? Like, you're kind of ready for something crazy, after MGS2, but um, them plays out, you real crap. This is Big Boss. Like I was
Hmm.
I was also in that group of like trying to put it all together and kind of thinking that when he gets shot in the eye, you're like, oh, now I get what's
Yeah.
going on. Like, oh, I was totally like, I'm the fool in that one. Um, but it was good. I think was the swan song to the series in that moment. But
Yeah.
it's nice to have the other ones. Um, but yeah, a solid game.
Hmm.
Uh, Character were great. Uh, well, the codex I think were probably one of the best ones. I can't, every time I replay it, I don't really skip them. I always
Hmm.
listen to like um, character, movie recommendations or whatever, and so much good little details in there that every time I play it, it's like, yeah, this is probably my favorite.
Because it's a good starting point because it's right. It's the beginning of it all. So
Right.
it's. I mean, when we I would say we like players in the States, when we finally get like the first one, Metal Gear Solid, it's actually the third game, but we don't know that. Like we're hearing about characters. We're hearing about like all these characters like past, and like we have no knowledge of it. Come to find the third one, so it's a refresher for when you get like to the third entry of the modern series. We're basically going to go all the way back to the beginning and kind of told like, well, this is how it all started from the beginning. This is like the one to kind of begin it all to become Big Boss with Snake and Snake kind of thing. So it's that's the enjoyable part, and especially with the whole, it feels like a love letter to like spy movies as well.
Yeah, or
Because
like the
yeah.
James
Hmm.
Bond sort of feel. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it goes down to like the theme song where it's just like it's full on like the way it plays and the way it kind of like goes. It's like the intro of like of a Bond film, and it's and it has like also like it's like humor as well. Like if you accidentally kill, also get the whole time paradox
Yeah, the
thing where it's
paradox.
like you gotta like go back and not again. It plays with humor. It's like I believe that at the end of the game, that Ocelot is on the White House lawn finger gunning you through the window. Like I don't know if that's an
Right.
hallucination.
Right.
I can't, especially with his uniform. Like I can't imagine like
Like, how
unless
many
he's like,
secret service agents are
yeah,
not doing their job for him to be there?
exactly. I was just like, no, this has got to be some kind of weird fucking hallucination thing that he's got. Like maybe he's still concussed and still thinking about the dude who like basically jumped out of the airplane at the end.
Maybe that's
And
his love for Ocelot. He sees
yeah,
him everywhere he goes now.
and I mean, so I would say like I for one am like really glad that they like rewrote, especially from five to go backwards into Peace Walker. That the fact this young girl, but like she wasn't like a teenager. It's like, oh no, she was in her 20s, basically spying on Big Boss. And I was like, because when I played that, I was just like, this is a little bordering. Like, I'm not comfortable with this, especially if you like. I think when they first introduced her, I don't know what it is. Like, I forgot which action button. Like, it would have like Big Boss like be able to like see through her clothes.
Yep, I
And
knew you were
underwear.
gonna get there.
I was like, is this a superpower? Oh, it's
It's like, why are we doing this? Why is this in here?
I don't know, but I was just like, oh God. I was like, please let this not be. And then it got worse with the whole like beach dates. And I was like, oh no. Running from you terrified. I was like, I was like, no, like this is pervy. Like it's like was Big Boss just like one horned up pervy dude? Is like I'm gonna bang anybody here. Like who cares? Um, but you know, for like all the characters, I would say like they're obviously these are all fictional characters, but of all the characters, like the one I feel like the most for, even though he kind of did it to himself, that would be Kazuhiro Miller. Like I kind of felt.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I could see like the high, like from Peace Walker, like yeah, he's riding high. He makes his confession, then and then Ground Zeroes to like Phantom Pain. Visually strips down everything like he either ever enjoyed or ever like was able to do. Like by the time we see him, his eyes are all like messed up and he's missing limbs, and I was just like, I kind of like feel like maybe this character and just kill him here. Like,
yeah, it's like
can we just
here's
do
your
that?
glasses, buddy. Like that's all you got left, man.
So bad, and it's just like the whole like I don't know, but you kind of see it with the whole facial expression that like he knows like this isn't the man he rode with years back. Like this isn't who knows this person, like whoever this person is. It's not Big Boss, and it's just like I mean, other than like the high life of like what was it, like Miller's Burgers with like Code Talker, it was all a downer for him. I was like,
Right.
damn. And I was like, oh. And then obviously from then to like one, it's like, all right, he's dead. Like that's the way it goes. Like shit. Like towards the end of his life, it just like torpedoed down and didn't stop until he died, kind of way.
Probably just sleep after that.
Oh, I can imagine. That's what it was. That was what he was doing in Alaska.
So it was Ocelot, right? That comes to take him out.
That's what I thought. Like I don't remember if they ever actually said it. I don't know if Liquid did it, but in his home, you would be able to get the drop on him from somebody he already knows, kind of in a way.
Right.
Like someone he knows will be able to get the drop on him, not really like be on guard, but I was Ocelot that kind of took him out.
Yeah, I don't remember or if that was like in a tape or something, or even what game that hints at the most. It's got to be 5. I always assumed it was Ocelot too, just to won the double triple agent. So yeah, I guess if someone's gonna do that, at least he knows about it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember because I'm pretty sure it was Barbecue in the combo of like him and Liquid, because why else what would be the benefit? Because I don't even think for that game it was just like he was kind of like added on, where he just like called in as Miller, like, gonna be like packaged like, oh, he's gonna be in the team, so you gotta like dress up as the guy and pretend to be him for a while until we get to this whatever we need him to do kind of thing. But I don't know. I'm sure of like that's like the question mark.
Well, like you're saying, his whole like downfall and stuff. Going back to V, like when you defeat Skullface and and he's going to shoot off his arm and his leg and all that. Even you as the player is like, oh, this is a little sad,
Yeah.
It's like you feel like nothing's gonna happen from this. It's like, oh, let it go,
Hmm.
or I don't know. So I it was a good moment of like you feel his kind of how it actually is once it's kind of done, and you almost feel from Venom's point of view of like he just sits there quietly like, oh, well, now what?
Yeah.
I guess we go back, we build some more of the base, and
Like just drown ourselves in the work,
right.
probably. And just Huey just be like shooting him at the end, like, yes, revenge. I'm like, shut up, dude. It's like
Just so
it's like you're the worst.
right.
It's like no
Of
one
course, you're your
likes you.
kid.
Oh my god, that was like so much about like involving kids, and it's just like, oh no, like
Yeah,
this
like
is
the
like the wrong route we're going.
wasn't that one of the acts like sins
Hmm.
in MGS sins of the fathers or whatever, or sins of our fathers or something like that.
Mm.
Like the theme, but yeah, it's definitely like this whole all throughout
Yeah,
making up for something my terrorist dad did.
yeah.
Or,
No, you're right. That's what it seems like for most of the issues. A lot of like, and also mother issue if you're John Big Boss.
yeah. Oh, okay. So there you
Mhm.
go. Um, is his real John Doe? Is it that on?
Yep.
Did Kojima actually tell the truth in that one? Given the whole John McClane, Die Hardman thing in Death Stranding, like, was he just actually truthful? Like, just replayed
Yeah.
that part recently,
Mhm.
and Zero doesn't call him out for using that name, which he should if it's his real name. Um, but is it him? And they were telling the truth from the beginning.
It's it sounds it's too it's like how like really like is his last name Doe like really? I would say maybe. 'Cause I would think like yeah, if you can do that with Death Stranding, I imagine like it's not gonna be like, super complicated. Like maybe he, for the sake of this mission, I don't know. He's for John, he's all in with the U.S. government and kind of like forsaking his actual last name to go do whatever he needs to do and never be found in the real world kind of thing. But
Yeah,
it'd be like his name could be John Doe. Like I mean, like almost all of them. Like we don't get like we don't get like full names. We usually get like either the first name for if they for when they have for their code names.
well, unless it's
If they
Kaz, and
reveal it, yeah.
if it's
Oh, you're
Kaz,
right.
it's
Yeah.
every single name he's ever had, and then a
It,
couple.
I would say like with each retcon, he adds a name basically,
Right.
kind of thing. But either nicknames, code names, or first names, kind of thing. When it comes to this, and I mean, this series in my life for now. Let's see, 14, going to be 25 years, and I was like, oh, man. And it's like I kind of want, like, do I want more games? I don't know. It's like the fan says so, but like, I don't think I got time for like if it's gonna be like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be like whoever helm if they do it, whoever helms the next ones. I can't imagine they'd be like really exhausting as the pre this.
Yeah, we need new games.
Mm,
Maybe that's the old person talking, but
yeah,
because I think I'm gonna steal their line, but
yeah.
Kojima Frequency, they said on there one time, what are you gonna do? Like make it just legendary soldiers all the way down, and that
Mhm.
is the like conundrum that you're in. If you keep adding games, it's like, okay, well, where do you go? Everyone's like, okay, add a boss game. Okay, well, who trained her? And
Mhm.
then you start that Pandora's box, and it's like just leave, I guess. But then
Yeah.
that's that okay. It's like, no, just let the series die, and we don't get any more fun, and no one, everyone just has to replay the same old games, and you better have fun with them because that's all that's left. That's not really a good. But
Mm.
porting has to be the best way to like keep it going. That or emulation, which I'm not too
Mhm.
good on. I mean, I'm not like my job doesn't really involve too much computers, so it's well
Mhm.
some, but yeah, I'm definitely not like a computer tech guy in that sense. Um,
Mhm.
so I've always console, plug it in or whatever, and I still think that's probably the easier way. Like if they're gonna do a collection, like make it simple for people.
Mm.
Push, or inserting the game into a system, best way, as opposed to like and everyone has to kind of individually do it. But that's where we're at. So it is the best way until the ports or new physical copies or something like that.
Maybe that's what Konami's doing. Like, I feel like maybe they're not like screwing. Maybe they're experimenting, because with the whole like Castlevania's like big anniversary, they kind of did the whole game with NFT screw up kind of thing. Yeah. And then you got the whole Teenage Mutant Turtles like Cowabunga collection. Maybe they're just like trying to figure out like what's the best route for this again. Because other than like you want to bring it to modern consoles again, what's the best way that we can do it, and is it worth it to us? That's the only thing they're thinking. That's the only thing.
Yeah, the numbers, and as much as I think people are buying, all these Metal Gear games, like business aspect, they're probably like, no, it's actually not as profitable as you think.
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be reasons behind it. I don't think they're just sitting on a pile of money and just like, nah, let's not make that.
Exactly. Let's see. Okay, now, is there anything on top of your head, Lenny, that you wanted to talk about or bring up?
Some notes here. I kind of think we covered most of it.
Yeah.
So when you're watching Escape from New York, what's the woman's name in that plays Maggie? Adrienne Barbeau or something like that. I'm pretty sure she's the reason, or one of the reasons, for Kojima's horniness. Like, it's that, and then the strong female character who's very capable. She has both of those in the movie, and that seems to be kind of a trope that he likes to continue on, especially with all the the stuff in 4, and then Eva and 3, like the whole mod, like that's where like it's the spinning of the model and all that stuff started, and then what's the B4?
Oh yeah, the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, motion capture there, you're like, okay, we know what you're doing there, but it's a little bit too much.
Oh my god, 4's like straight on. You're like, if
you gotta watch who's coming in the room on that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, like, when I first played it, I had to make sure none of my parents would come into the room. Like, oh shit, like, how to explain this? It's super weird, but then they're like, it goes into like that white screen where they're trying to like grab you kind of thing, and you can take photos if you want. But like now it's like, oh, like if my wife catches me playing this game, like how do I explain like what's going on in this scenario? Like,
right?
It's like, it's just a game, so don't worry. But yeah, no, I would say, like, as soon as you said that, I was like, it flashed in my head, and I was like, that's where all the horniness began, I imagine. And for a sequel, I just had to go back and watch it, because it's kind of like
Escape from LA?
Yeah, Escape from LA.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like, it's not the best, but you know what? I have to watch it because, it's about Snake Plissken. And then I would rewatch it, and I would just say to myself, like, this feels like a lot like Metal Gear Solid. I was thinking to myself, like, and it came out before. I was like, I'm pretty sure he took pieces of this movie as well.
Yeah, they both came out before, right?
Yeah, because I think
it's like 96 or something.
LA was 96,
yeah.
Yep, and then MGS was 98. So it's like, especially with that the unmanned vehicle that Pliskin wanted to go into LA. I was like, oh man, this here, like, that's it too.
And terrible CGI.
Oh god, yeah. And then the whole, like, I imagine Kojima paid pretty close attention to like the small cameo Bruce Campbell was in, where he just, like, I forgot the character's name, but he just like grabs like the woman's breasts, and he's like, my god, they're real. And I was like, oh man, like, I'm pretty sure he would have found a way to, like, if he did like that in the games, I'm like, holy shit, like, this is like straight out of that one kind of thing. But the horniness alive and well, even going into like his new universe of Death Stranding.
It's there. See how Well, so for MGSV, Quiet, that's
Mm,
where he pretty much like peaked on that. He's like, okay, we're just gonna go all out. But then with Fragile, it's almost like he did the purpose of like, okay, we're not gonna really show her body or
mm,
anything like that. Um, but then on like, what's the actress's name? Like Leia Sudo or something like that. I probably butchered her name, but
mm.
anyway, he always posts pictures of her modeling and all that, and it's like, nah, you can still see where he's very much still attracted to that or to her.
Pretty much it. I'm drawing a blank right now. To tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
man,
And
that's kind of all I had planned
yeah,
just to talk about.
I was like, and we're on two different time zones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's
Or
only one for me.
I was gonna say like, it's early for you, so I'm gonna say, like, say like, Lenny, thank you for coming on,
Thank you for having me.
and is if anybody wants to reach you, where can they reach you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me at Lenny Not Dead at Real Turtle Power on Twitter. That's kind of the only place I'm really not. I'm on some Discords and stuff, but
Mm.
I don't really use that much at all. So yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, find me on Twitter.
Say like, and that'll be the end of this episode. Thanks, Lenny.
All right, thanks again.